Daniel just had he just kept laughing, and I just thought his giggle was infectious.
Yeah.
All right, we're here with Daniel at the Gay Pride Parade. Daniel, what's the haps?
Nothing much.
What are you doing here today?
Just looking around, looking at everything, just having fun.
How is the gay community dealing with the loss of infomercial king Billy Mays?
I don't really know who that is.
He's the guy, he's on Pitchman, and he yells at the TV. He's on all the infomercials. He's got a beard.
Is he the one from, like, the ShamWow or something?
No, but he's like that guy.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He's dead.
Oh, he died?
Yeah.
That's sad. I don't really know who that is, though.
Well, you sound pretty broken up. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
Is the parade backing up into his ass every time you ask him a question?
Holy shit. That could possibly be the gayest voice I've ever heard in my life.
He had this kid, he was fully dressed, but he was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I know. He had shorts and a t-shirt on and had rainbow socks pulled all the way up, so it almost looked like leggings.
That's cute.
The rainbow is a symbol for pride. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How annoyed is Jesse Jackson that he fucking calls this thing the Rainbow Coalition?
Rainbow Coalition.
2 hours later, the gays take the same thing.
We meet Benjamin.
Oh, yeah. Benjamin was selling Obama condoms.
Really?
He was standing on the corner with a box and yelling out Obama condoms.
What are Obama condoms like? What's the difference between that and a regular
When you
condom?
fuck somebody and you pull your dick out and a lot of your hard-earned money is stuck to it.
Well, he was having no luck selling because people kept walking up, because people give things out at Pride. And people kept walking up and saying, oh, cool. And every time they'd pick one up, he'd say, no, it's 3 for $10. And then they put it back down. But I wanted to find out what an Obama condom was. So some of his puns, I think since this is a comedy show, you guys will all just kind of really kind of like.
That, Sam. Hey, Sam, who'd you go down there with?
My girlfriend, Jess, who's a girl. And we're out here at the Gay Pride Parade with Benjamin. Benjamin, what's the haps?
The what?
The haps?
The haps. Well, we're selling Obama condoms for everybody's hard times. They're actually curved to the left and flavored with...
Oh, my God. Here come the
hard
puns.
times,
See?
curved to the left.
Oh,
right.
Here come the puns.
And flavored with,
What do you think?
chocolate?
No.
I would think because he's, an African-American gentleman.
Oh, wow.
Flavored with...
Could you ring the bell for every pun?
Oh, please.
There's got to be something with package and stimulus.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you got a package.
Heard this clip before?
Stimulus.
Uh-oh.
Very good.
Down the throats of the American people, no.
No, he's a supporter of Obama.
What do you think it's flavored with?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe it's not a traditional flavor. Maybe it's just that's how wacky and fun it is.
Does it sound kind of like a flavor?
Maybe not even.
Word?
It's just so like crazy and wacky that it's like, how could that's not even a real flavor?
Flavored with shit?
Flavored with change?
You're getting close.
I know.
Ew.
I know it has something to do with change. Flavored with...
What's the other tag word? Change and...
Yes, we can. It was flavored in someone's can.
Change in what? I don't know.
Well, I mean...
Fuck, I don't feel like playing fucking password right now. Give
no,
me a fucking answer.
hard.
Wait.
We could just listen to the
Oh,
clip.
my God. No, it's not flavored with that. Flavored with... is what some people are writing.
That's not even...
That's not even
doesn't
a
even make
flavor.
sense.
Let's find out.
Crazy.
And we'll ring the bell every time there's a pun. Okay.
We're out here at the Gay Pride Parade with Benjamin. Benjamin, what's the haps?
The what?
The haps?
The haps. Well, we're selling Obama condoms for everybody's hard times. They're actually curved to the left and flavored with hope.
Is Obama curved to the left, or is that just like a joke about his...
Well, no, the condoms are actually curved to the left in scientific studies. They tend to go to the left, more to the right. Lately, we found that they've been moving towards center.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it, because of his policies.
Oh, you're catching on there.
Yes. Do you think this is something Obama would be proud of?
Oh, definitely. He's a fan of entrepreneurship. He's a fan of safety. He's a fan of hope. He's a fan of judgment. And most importantly, the stimulus package.
Oh, the stimulus, because of the, like boners.
Obama condom.
He got tired of me. What makes an Obama condom different from like a regular condom?
They're actually hope flavored and lubed with hope as well.
What does hope taste like?
Surprisingly like latex.
Oh, I see. Well, Best of luck to you.
Thank you, brother.
He got really sick of me. That's why I started trying to
no
sell the
shit.
condoms.
He's just turning around. You're fucking, you're fucking his business.
That music will give you a fucking headache.
Oh, it was all
man. Holy
over. It was
shit.
not escapable.
Just pounding. Boom, boom.
Couldn't be on
boom,
Fifth Avenue without some nice.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I wish this song was playing.
At least the boom in this song's softer. You know what I mean? All right, let's. Oh, you mean Anthony at the game, right?
Yeah, Anthony was there.
Oh,
Damn
Anthony.
it. Now, Sam,
I saw
said
you.
this was off the record. Oh, no.
Who is the party? He says we meet Anthony, who is the party and represents gay people well.
Yes. All right, we're here with Anthony at the Gay Pride Parade. Anthony, what's the haps?
Well, right now, I'm very upset because they refused to play Kelly Clarkson. I do not hook up. But, everything else is good. But I'm enjoying myself. This is my first time going to Pride here in New York. So right now, it's kind of fun. I'm the party right now.
You are the party?
Yes, I'm the party.
Cool.
Yes.
Sloppy party
How do you
bottom.
feel? There's a lot of controversy with Sacha Baron Cohen's new movie, Bruno, about it playing on stereotypes and stuff. Do you think there's problems with the way people view gays as like an oversexed...
Yes. In a way, there it is.
Where do you think that people get those ideas from?
From certain movies that they show on television, in a way, they don't show exactly what gays go through. They make it seem like we're all about the nightlife, doing drugs and everything. That's not what it's really about.
Do you think the Pride Parade with the men dancing around in their underwear and stuff on the floats and partying adds or detracts from that?
Well, it's a gay pride parade. Like, you're supposed to, go all out and have fun, because it's only one day out of the year where you actually get to be yourself.
That's what gay guys do, right?
Exactly.
There you
You
go.
just made him turn the whole thing around.
I love it.
That's what gay guys do. Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, wait a minute. I just said no. We don't do that.
Jesus.
Oh,
He was
boy.
the party, though.
You can twist people around.
Well, I mean, it's,
You were just playing him.
Of course I was.
Oh, God.
Like this guy.
He's in a pink little skirt
You're telling me that guy's not an idiot?
with a pink flower laying in the street.
Sneakers.
Sneakers on and
Some type of
Jesus.
tutu or...
Can't imagine.
Wow. Anthony continues, talks about losing Billy Mays.
Well, because while I was at Pride, it was on Sunday, so I just had gotten an email that Billy Mays had passed away.
How many career homers did he end up with?
No, that's not the same guy.
No,
Billy Mays is the infomercial guy.
God, I can't get this right today.
How is the gay community dealing with the loss of infomercial king Billy Mays?
Ooh. Honestly, I'm not sure.
He's the guy from the infomercials. He has the beard and he yells a lot. OxyClean.
Oh, him.
Yeah, he's dead.
What about him?
He's dead.
I don't know about that. I didn't know he died.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see how people are reacting. He died just today.
Oh, my God. I did not know that at all.
Were you a fan?
I liked the commercial. Honestly, I thought it was funny because he made it seem like it was the cure for everything.
Yeah.
So I liked it. It
Had
seemed
your
very good to me.
Had your hopes up, didn't you?
All right, well, great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Him and his friends just fucking guzzling fucking whatever it's called.
OxyClean.
OxyClean.
Hi, I'm Billy Mays. Oh, ew.
We meet Eric, who
Oh, Iraq was there too.
Cool.
Yes.
who's wearing underpants and rollerblades.
Eric was great because he was he was very muscular, very in good shape, clean cut,
wow.
and just underpants on, just green and orange underpants and
all you need.
and rollerblades.
Doesn't seem very safe. Like you could maybe scuff a knee or
Where the
something.
fuck does he keep his money there, Sam?
He
In case
actually
he needs a drink or a little lunch or
I
something.
bet it stinks when he pays people.
Yes.
Let me grab into my wallet.
It's one of those old cigar holders, plastic.
Jesus.
Puts it in there and pounds it in with a mallet.
All right, I'm ready for a day of rollerblading.
Got to give the guy a Heimlich if you want change. Ugh. Creepy. So where does he keep his money, Sam?
He was holding his cell phone So his money must be kept inside the underpants. There must be some kind of pocket. Or they were very tight, so I wouldn't assume that anything would slip out. All right, we're out here with Eric at the Gay Pride Parade. Eric, what's the haps?
I'm with Naked Boys Singing.
So is this why today you're in the underwear and rollerblades?
Yes, our signature colors are lime green and sherbet orange. And I'm rollerblading because it's nice to be able to zip back and forth and say hi to all my friends, and I can be my own personal float.
Do you think one of the problems politically with the way people are dealing with gays in the media and other places is the stereotypes that they have about gays being oversexed and things like that?
Yeah, I think they do that a lot. You know, any coverage of the parades, they always show the most outlandish, person or float in the parade, which, is a demographic of the community, but it doesn't represent the community as a whole.
Would you put yourself in that outlandish category?
Oh, I think I kind of like the best of both worlds. I can, be fun and outlandish, but I can also sort of reel it in and, be a professional.
So in your day-to-day life, you do wear pants?
I do wear pants.
I do.
Good question, though.
But he said, if it's such a problem that people are concentrating too much on the outlandish people,
Put your pants on.
put your pants on, really.
Pants on.
You could wear a tank top.
Right,
It's
right.
not that warm.
Yeah, come on.
Put your pants on, get some things done, and then go back to wearing the underpants.
Right. If you want to skate around in your underpants at home, that's one thing.
That
but
is something that they just say, that
Yeah,
is
it's a
true.
problem,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a problem. As he's naked.
He continues.
How is the gay community reacting to the loss of infomercial king Billy Mays?
Of what?
Of the loss of infomercial king Billy Mays. He passed away.
Okay, who is he, first of all?
He's the guy from the infomercials. He had
Whammo?
He's maybe Whammo. He sold
Whammo?
OxyClean. He had the
Bearded?
beard. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad. I didn't know he was gay just because I'm like,
not gay.
you never know who's gay and
my
who's not
God.
sometimes.
I didn't know he was gay either.
That makes me sad. I just found out that from you, but it makes me sad when anyone passes away. But that life ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? People come and people go, and
Hopefully the soul of Billy Mays is now being put into a newborn.
wham! I know. Didn't he say whammo? I know he just screamed a lot.
Yeah. He got his point across, though.
He did.
Why is that funny?
He also, I don't know, for some reason it just tickled me that he said, "Oh, I didn't know he was gay." Yeah, nobody said he was.
Did his ball bag jiggle when he laughed like that?
I didn't look at the ball bag. I make eye contact.
What
with
kind
the
of
people.
fucking
come
reporter
on.
are you?
Did Billy
Jesus.
Mays say whammo?
I don't know. He said
He
Ka-
was hit,
Kaboom. Yeah, he's probably thinking of kaboom.
yeah, he was the kaboom guy.
no
Whammo.
whammo. It's very generic to say whammo.
Wait, didn't Billy Mays say, "You're no son of mine, get the fuck out of my house"? No, that must have been someone else.
I think he said booyah.
But there will be a video of this posted later this week.
Oh, we can't wait, Sam.
So you guys can see Eric in his underpants in all his glory.
Oh.
And when I was looking at the video that I had my girlfriend Jess, who accompanied me to the parade, take, girlfriend,
Right.
she did a kind of like a wide shot, so Eric's package was in frame throughout the interview.
good.
Yes. So
Did she
that's-
enjoy the packages?
I think not,
Why wouldn't she?
because they're very gay. They're gay
Yeah, but it's-
packages.
How would that work with a girl for real?
They're
Like,
still men.
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
but they're
does
not
the girl
manly.
enjoy the gay package? Like just watching
Here's
it
what
and
it is.
admiring it, and
Girls would admire the shape that these guys are in,
Yeah.
regardless of their sexual orientation. It would be like having a chick that is really hot but is a lesbian. A guy would enjoy looking at her.
But Jess doesn't really like guys that are in shape like that.
she doesn't like guys.
No, that are in shape like that.
See,
I said
I
she prefers like
didn't hear
skinny,
the whole
like
sentence.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I like the
ass.
fact that Jake LaMotta here just pointed out that they're not very masculine.
Well, no.
Remember we were talking about Obama. This is a quickie before the break. Obama, thank you, Sam. That was really
You're
good.
welcome.
You did all right.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know it was a tough assignment for you.
It was. Why are you saying that sarcastically as if I enjoyed it?
It's going to be hard
Probably
to
a
report
pain in the ass
with a
going there,
raging
right?
heart on.
First of all, I didn't have a heart.
He had to actually fucking rubber band his dick to the fucking thigh, so it wouldn't seem unprofessional.
None of that's true, but I don't. Danny just looked
my
up the word
goodness.
twinks in Google Images.
Well, you told Danny to show
Wow,
pictures.
look at those two just taking a bath together.
It's not a worry in the world.
Just sucking each other's dicks.
They're not worried about a Ponzi scheme.
No.
They don't give a shit. Here's Obama, a quickie from Obama. He was talking and some shit happened.
For we know that progress depends not only on changing laws, but also changing hearts. Yes. And that real transformative change never begins in Washington. Who's duck back there?
It's a duck.
There's a duck quacking in there somewhere. Where do you guys get these ringtones, by the way? I'm just curious. Indeed, that's the story of the movement for fairness and equality.
Wow. He goes right back
Then
to
he
it
goes
too
right
quickly.
back to it. You gotta laugh.
I was enjoying the dumb little moment, but then he couldn't let it just play out.
You gotta laugh.
He
He is
did all
kind of
right.
naturally funny when it comes to things like
Yeah.
that. Like he's pretty good when he's giving a speech if something happens, like to unless it's serious. You know, some kind of serious thing. Him trying to think on his feet. But for a good goof, yeah, he's pretty funny.
All right, well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony Show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony Show on Twitter, at Opie Radio, at Anthony Cumia, and at Jim Norton.
For the lovely and talented Piers Morgan, thank you, sir.
What's
Take a
up, Piers
seat.
Morgan?
Chaps. We're chaps today.
Look at what's going on behind you. That's $5,000 worth of quarters on the floor, sir.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Is that my fee?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, there
it's
you
not
go.
your fee. You had to take care of some business before you
Yeah.
came in here today.
I was just chewing Howard Stern, a new one. Nothing, no biggie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard you
was the
guys were
problem there?
buddies over there.
We were pretty pally over there.
we
He
just
was
got-
like the warm up for the main grilling here.
We got reports that you guys were buddy over there.
It was actually surprisingly friendly. Yeah.
You got to go back on that show.
Well, I said to him, what we should really have is me, Howard, and Alex Jones. You know, the disc
God.
jockey.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, 1776 is where you're going back to.
That's what we need to do. You know, I saw that one. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That debate you guys
It
had.
was really calm. It was really respectable back and forth.
It was great. It was great TV. I want you back in America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
for
thank
real.
you.
Because I don't
Thank
watch
you.
the show anymore, and because you were way better.
I just
That is a
I
fact.
ran out of words to tell people they suck.
Right. You had it with that show?
Well, I did 6 seasons in America, and I did 4 of the Britain's Got Talent, and it just comes a point when you can't think of anything new to say about somebody who's murdering. You know, raise me up.
Right.
You try, but you raise me. Oh, for God's sake, give me strength. You know.
Piers. Now we had a little thing.
Yes.
And we're gonna have some more things today.
Good.
I actually like watching you. I really do, because you do fucking tackle some tough fucking subjects. But it frustrated me that you don't acknowledge the media and their responsibility in these school shootings.
Yeah, but I do. I do acknowledge some
But have
responsibility.
you talked about it on the show?
Yeah, but I see, I don't agree with your central premise, because if you take your argument to its logical extension, then the media would never cover any mass shootings at all.
That is a problem, and I agree with you there.
And you can't have a situation where you just simply don't report bad news because you think it may encourage other people to do it.
But I think it's the way you guys do it, and show his face a million fucking times, and there's a slick graphic, and it's the music, and the guy looks like almost like a rock star when you see that on TV.
I think it's an inescapable way of doing these stories. You can't ignore the person that's committed the crime.
Right.
Like,
Can I
if
ask
you
you
go
why
back
it's
through history,
why
and
is it
you,
inescapable, though? Like, what Hope just said, not to interrupt
Because
you,
I
but
think
why
it's
is
the
it
way
it's
inescapable?
pushed forward, I
here's
think,
the
is where
thing.
we have the
Because
problem.
Here's the thing. It's funny. Anderson Cooper at CNN would agree with you. He often doesn't like naming the names of the shooters. I have a different view. I come from a British newspaper background. I think that you need to find out every spit and cough of these people. I want to know everything about them. I want to know what triggered the thought process to go into a school or a movie theater and slaughter dozens of Americans. And if it means you have to show their picture repeatedly so that some people watch and go, I know that guy. I remember him. I remember that guy in an incident on the beach in 1986. It's worth it. Now, it's a necessary evil, in my view.
Do you think that'll push other people to do exactly the same thing? Though?
You never know. I mean,
FBI profilers have said yes.
There's certainly
yes.
you cannot rule out that there is a danger of copycats doing.
But I would
that.
love to I would love for you to have a discussion on this on your show.
That's why I'm here.
But on your show.
I came into the Lion's Den to have this very debate.
We're easy, actually.
The press really does refuse to truly, like, you're acknowledging it because you're smart and we're talking about it, but to them, the payoff on people watching what they're doing is much more important than the absolute risk of it encouraging other people, because they do that for that reason.
It's easy to say, but what would you do if you were covering on CNN? What would you cover?
What I cover is like when there's something like a shooting. It's absolute news. You have to cover it. It's a real story.
And you name the guy?
Of course you do.
You show his picture?
Maybe for the first day, sure, because it is a part of the story. We're not talking about don't cover.
So what don't you do?
It's when it begins to go into the second day, where it's all that nonsense about why did he do it. He did it because I'll tell you why. He's crazy.
So
that's why he did it. I'm not interested. Do you ever? Let me ask you.
You're not interested in finding out why people commit mass shootings?
When there's a rape.
Maybe that's why there are so many in this country.
Let me ask you.
Not enough people do care enough.
When there's a rape, do you guys say, why did he do it? You don't care why he did it. He's a rapist and he's an animal. Nobody says about a rapist or a child molester, why did he molest those children?
No, I can't have this, because here's why I can't have this. Because sometimes the trigger may be violent video games, right? Which 99% of the people that play them, and we know this from statistical evidence, it has no problem or no effect on. But no one can tell me, given the pattern of mass shooters in America in recent years, that there is negligible or zero connection between somebody like Adam Lanza sitting in his little lair, watching, these horrific violent video games all day long, anesthetizing himself to mass killings. It has to play a tiny part. I don't think it's a big part.
Okay, let me go with that.
I think it doesn't help.
Hold on.
You see, he might be connected to violent videos and some form of mental health problem. The next mass shooter might have an entirely different thing. He may have been abused as a kid or whatever it may be. You have to get to the bottom of what triggers each of these mass shootings.
All right, but the violent video game angle, okay? What is it about...
Do you think it has zero impact, seriously, to anybody in the world?
I don't know if it's zero, but I think it's so minuscule that it's not even on a fucking... it should be on anyone's radar. Hold on. I got a second point, and then let's go with this. So the rest of the world plays violent video games. So why aren't they in the same situation with all these mass shootings?
Well, the rest of the world doesn't have the gun availability that America has.
Now you got him.
Well, they don't.
Now you got his attention.
I think they do. Well, there are some countries that have a lot more guns than the United States.
Really, name one.
Afghanistan
has more guns than the United States of America.
Absolutely.
Do you know how many guns you've got in America?
Yeah, probably one or two for 1.5.
Do you know the total?
Person. 1.5 per person.
305 million guns in circulation, according to latest reports. Do you think there's more than that in Afghanistan?
Probably.
Have you ever been to Afghanistan?
No.
Let me reassure you.
I know there's a war going on there.
There are not 300 million guns in Afghanistan. Let me reassure you, or anywhere near it. America has the highest volume of guns of any country in the world. And let me spell out some more statistics for you about guns. I come from Great Britain, as you know, right? My accent has annoyed you numerous times. But let me tell you this, though. Here's where I have a real issue with the gun rights people. Well, let's get into per capita. The British population is about 60 million. America's is 315 million. Okay, so you're about 5 times the size of my country. We have 35 gun murders a year. You have 11 to 12,000. And unless I'm wrong, 5 times 35 is not 11 to 12,000, right?
I understand.
So do you accept as a country that you have an unacceptable level of gun death and violence?
It's a lot of gun death and,
is it unacceptable
and violence.
To you?
Well, any gun death would be unnecessary or unjust gun death.
So what do you do about
it? What do you do about it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should curtail some of the gang problems that make up more than half of those stats.
Do you think selling assault rifles in Walmart is a good idea?
Do you? Well, assault rifles aren't even used in most of the crimes that you're talking about.
Actually, they've been used in 95% of the mass shootings in America since I've been here.
There haven't been many mass shootings.
Mass shootings don't matter to you?
No, they do matter. But as far as statistics go,
Sandy Hook, AR-15. Aurora, AR-15.
Personally.
Why are they using AR-15s?
And emotionally, it's very there's a lot of pressure on people to look at assault rifles like you are. But
why does a civilian need an assault rifle? Tell me.
Why do you think the police need them?
Because they're police.
Because they're police. That's not an answer.
Yeah, the police and military.
If I want to protect my home as good as the police need to protect themselves and the general public, why don't I have the right to do that?
Why don't you use tanks?
Because those are, you got to have some type of balance.
You need restrictions.
There are restrictions,
right,
Piers.
Why are there restrictions? Because the Supreme Court said with the Second Amendment ruling in 2008 or 9, whenever it was, they said there needs to be reasonable restrictions, right? My argument is not about taking anybody's guns away.
Unreasonable.
I have never asked for any confiscation of any gun.
No,
right?
Confiscation is one thing.
Nor
elimination is another.
Let me finish.
Do you know I can't buy an AR-15 here in New York anymore?
Right, good.
I'm not allowed to. No, not good.
Why not good?
They took my guns away.
Why do you want an AR-15
because,
assault rifle?
like I said, I want to protect my house as well as the police protect their jurisdiction, their precincts, the people that they protect. When they show up to a shooter in a school, let's say, they show up. They don't show up with a pistol, a 9mm. They show up with an assault rifle, as they're called.
How would you protect your schools?
How would I protect my schools? I think armed citizens are a great deterrent.
Every teacher?
To not every teacher. I think
how many would you arm?
I think in a school you would arm people that have gone through proper training and psychological profiling, much like a police officer would have to. That type of thing. But an armed citizenry.
Where would you put the guns?
You could put them on the teacher, a concealed. Carry
so wait a minute.
Weapon on
my
a
child,
teacher.
I've got 4 kids. My youngest is nearly 2.
Sure.
When she goes to elementary school, I'm sending my child into an elementary school where half the teachers are wandering around packed with heat.
Not half the teachers. However many. How many
do you want?
However many are responsible and have taken whatever training they need to safely
What happens
use
if they
a
drop
weapon?
their gun and one of the children picks it up and shoots one of their other children?
Well, that's very irresponsible, I'd say. And that could happen with...
Do you know how many people accidentally shoot people in America every single day?
Yeah.
Do you know how many kids in the last 2 months alone have killed other kids because adults have been irresponsible?
It's
you
less
want to
than
arm
drown in
more
backyard
adults.
pools, Piers.
So
it's
what?
less.
It's just
so what is what?
It's just less than dying.
You blow off other stats as so what, and then your stats are the important ones that
you
should
want
be
to
looked at.
liken the deaths in swimming pools from accidental drowning
I just want to say
to the
can't,
deaths in schools from assault rifles.
You can't.
Are you really
not
being that facile?
Not assault rifles. First of all, let's separate the assault rifle, which is barely used in crimes.
Apart from the last 7 of 9 mass shootings in America.
Mass shootings. Add up the gang violence that has killed tens of thousands with handguns, illegal handguns in Chicago, Detroit, New York, L.A.
Massive problem too.
Not massive problem, too. Much bigger problem than assault weapons in schools.
You may think that 20 kids being killed in elementary school
never said that,
is not as important as gang violence in Chicago.
Numbers,
I don't agree with you.
If we're talking numbers, let's take the cherubish faces out of the whole thing and just talk numbers.
No, let's keep the cherubish faces in this thing. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Let me explain.
And they're more important than the young black faces in inner cities that are being shot every weekend?
Now you're sounding ridiculous.
No, I'm not. I'm sounding like a logical human being.
Let's hear Piers out.
Why don't you let me have my say about why I feel strongly about the mass shooting situation?
All right.
So in Britain in 1996, there was a massacre in Dunblane in Scotland. 16 5-year-old children were murdered by gunmen. As a result, Britain came together, left and right. It was never a partisan debate, never conservative v liberal over guns. The media came together, driven by the paper that I was editor-in-chief of. The public came together and said, we cannot have this happening in our society. We banned all assault rifles, all assault weapons, all handguns. Since that day, there hasn't been a single school shooting in Britain. Since that day, there's been one mass shooting by some loner who killed about 8-9 people. Other than that, 0 mass shootings. We have 35 gun murders a day. You'll have that many today and tomorrow in America.
A year, you mean? A year.
You win 35 a year. You have that many a day. Australia, the same year, 96, in Port Arthur in Tasmania, had a massacre, 36 people killed. And they also banned all assault weapons and numerous handguns. They haven't having had a series of mass shootings, they haven't had a single mass shooting since 96 in Australia.
No, but they have a lot of home invasions.
Here's my other point. Yeah. You look at Japan, Germany, Britain, Australia. You wouldn't find 4 countries which have a greater history of gun violence in the world than those 4 countries, right? Other than America. The only one of all those countries which has never dealt with gun violence is America. And in fact, it's getting worse because there are ever more guns in circulation. They're ever more powerful. They can kill ever more people in one go. And here's why I say that. The Sandy Hook shooting was the single worst shooting of people in a school in American history. The Aurora movie theater massacre was the single highest volume of people, Americans, hit by one person in a civilian mass shooting in American history. These things are getting worse and bigger and the scale more dramatic. What will it take before eventually there can be a reasonable debate, and I mean reasonable, in America about how you try and reduce mass shootings, gang violence, and general accidental death by
They're
gun?
different subjects. You can't just blame
It all
the
comes down to the
hardware.
gun.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Because in countries like Britain, Germany, Japan, and Australia, where they have basically removed guns, there is no gun crime and no gun death.
Britain, first of all, per capita, of course, we got to look at the population
It's a
difference.
fifth of the size
But
of America.
I understand, but it has a
So what do you
much-
mean per
it has-
capita?
I'm saying per capita, it has a higher violent crime rate than the United States.
You really believe that?
Yes, I do. It's
Have you
statistic.
ever been to Britain?
No, I haven't, but I know
You
statistically
believe Britain is a more violent country than America?
more violent crimes.
This is the problem.
Assaults.
This is the problem
assaults.
this is the problem with the debate in this country. It's so ludicrous. Of course it doesn't.
It's not ludicrous. And the bottom line of the whole thing
I don't
is,
think you even believe that.
Well, what are the stats? You're both saying ludicrous. What
Well,
are the stats? Does anybody, does anybody know?
I don't have them
You
off
know
the top of my head.
Let me spell out for you about Britain. So it's in perspective. It's not about me telling Americans how to lead their lives. Britain has appalling records on things like teenage knife crime, right? Teenage obesity, underage pregnancies, general yobbery and disrespect and stuff like that. I feel very exercised about all those issues in my country. But the one thing we got right, and which I think is particularly relevant to America, is gun violence. And I say to you guys again, I don't want to grab anybody's gun. I don't want to take anybody's gun away. I'm talking about going forward. What type of guns do you think should come as they get ever more powerful and militarized? At what point does reasonable restrictions mean you can't go to a Walmart in many cities in America where I can't buy a Kinder Surprise egg because the little toys inside the chocolate may choke me? I can't buy 6 packets of Sudafed because I might be building some illegal pharmacy. I can't buy French cheese because of the bacterial threat to my life. But instead of those, I can buy an AR-15 assault rifle and then get on the internet, order 6,000 rounds of ammunition and go and shoot up a school or movie theater. At what point does America wake up and say we have to be doing more to protect lives? That's my only question.
We have to do more to weed out the people that are insane.
But you don't
that
even allow
shouldn't have-
background checks. The Senate refused to even pass background checks. 40% of all gun trades in America have no background check. That means you can be mentally insane and or criminal and buy any gun you like. Why would anyone be opposed to 100% universal background checks?
I don't think a lot of people are opposed. In New York
No,
here,
90% of Americans supported it.
I
But the
have to,
Senate threw it out.
I have to go through background checks whenever I buy a weapon here in New
Why
York.
do you think gun crime in
And
New York is plummeting
I
to
think-
record lows?
Because the NYPD does a great job with the gangs around here, which are
Which is
a
why
huge problem
I agree.
with gun violence.
But Michael
Not the
Bloomberg,
gun.
Michael Bloomberg and Rudy Giuliani and other mayors in this city took it on head on. And Chicago's problem is as much to do with not as good law enforcement.
They're not
as New York.
enforcing the laws that are in place. That's
agree
what I'm
with you.
saying.
I agree with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The laws that are in place should be taken care of. Going after legal, law-abiding gun owners in this country is not the thing to do. It's not going to help lower any crimes.
Well, of course it is.
No, it's not.
Let me give you an example of legal gun owners. Adam Lanza's mother was a legal gun.
The most irresponsible woman with her guns. With legally owning a gun comes great responsibility.
Right.
That's the thing. Education, training, things like that.
You know why she bought them?
You can't just.
You know why she had 6 weapons, including an AR-15?
I hear she was some type of a survivalist and liked having
Doomsday prepper.
Not really. She
prepper.
was an NRA member, and she just believed that actually the NRA were right. If you arm yourself, you will protect yourself. Unfortunately, she had a crazed son with an addiction to violent video games, a loner, a misfit.
That's a little.
It may be of zero relevance, or maybe it's not. We don't actually know.
Pierce, some nut could look at a Monet and think, I got to kill somebody now.
Yep.
It's because they're crazy. You can't look at the video game, at the hardware used, the gun, the this, the that. Let's look at the actual problems.
What happened after Sandy Hook in terms of gun sales in America?
Well, they skyrocketed.
Way up.
How do you feel about that?
Because people are afraid that their right to own these guns are going to be taken away.
What about the right of those children not to be murdered?
Well, exactly.
Well, exactly what?
Something has to be done about that.
What do you do, though? Because actually 3 things were proposed.
Well,
a new assault weapons ban, a ban on high-capacity clips that were over 10 bullets, right? And also universal background checks. All 3 of those things...
And you think that's going to eliminate school shootings?
I think it might help.
I don't think so.
All 3 of them got thrown out. So the reaction from America to the worst school shooting in its history, unlike in Britain where we banned all assault weapons and handguns, was 0. Not even background checks. In fact, the fastest selling weapon in America in the 4 months after Sandy Hook was the exact same AR-15 that Adam Lanza used to blow those kids' brains out.
Because we knew it was being taken away from us.
But what an astonishing reaction from the great superpower of the world.
Why not? Why wouldn't you, if you know they're going to be taken away and you want one to protect your life and your family's life and your house, as well as the police can, why wouldn't you want to get one before they're taken away, like they were in New York? Like they were in this state. You cannot buy one now because
But it's
Cuomo
made New York
decided
a safer place.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Assault weapons. Look at the crime stats for assault weapons. You
Look
can't
at the
even
murder
find
rates
them.
in New York.
What about
Look
it?
at the gun crime in New York.
Stop and frisk
Look at
help
the
with
gun
that
murder
too.
rates.
Stop and frisk help with that too.
Exactly.
Which is going away.
But
in New York.
to take the right of a New York American citizen, to take his right
to have
own,
an AR-15.
To have an AR-15, a weapon that is preferred to
I say
the preferred
balls to
weapon
that right.
of
The founding fathers...
You can't say balls
I
to that
just said
right.
it, and here's
It's
why.
The Second
the
Amendment.
founding fathers never intended civilians to wander around the streets of America carrying AR-15 killing
How
machines.
do you know what they meant?
You think they did?
I think they saw weaponry advance in their lifetime enough to know that it was going to keep happening,
But you
and they
accept
didn't put a clause in there
you
that said,
accept there should
and
be restrictions.
A musket was the cutting-edge weapon of the time.
How long did it take to reload a musket?
They didn't relegate, but they
Do you know
knew
how long?
It took a long time.
How long?
At least a minute, right?
Nah, somebody could do it pretty fast. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Imagine how many people you would kill in a movie theater if you had to reload per bullet 30 seconds.
But do you understand? They knew that technology was going to advance. They didn't put anything in the Second Amendment that says up until this point of technology.
Are you aware of the history of how the Second Amendment was interpreted legally in this country?
Oh, yes, believe me.
So you're aware that for 95% of its lifespan, the interpretation was not that an individual had the right to bear arms, but that an individual had the right to bear arms as part of a well-regulated militia. And you're aware of how the NRA hijacked the meaning of that in the mid-70s. Reagan became president. He was an NRA supporter. And as a result of that pressure, they began to pile on. The Supreme Court eventually said, a few years ago, okay, it actually relates to individuals. It was hijacked by the NRA. Who supports the NRA?
Hijacked
well, it was.
by
If you know
the
the history,
NRA.
it was.
No, because the history.
Who supports the NRA?
Who supports the NRA?
Who pays their money?
Legal gun owners.
No.
Yeah.
Well, partly a subscription. Who gives them the bulk? Who gives them the bulk of their money to go after politicians who support gun safety?
The gay community.
Lobby groups for.
No, you're missing their number one funders.
Who is it, Piers?
The gun manufacturers.
Oh, sure. Why wouldn't they? They're in business.
Exactly. So when Wayne LaPierre goes out after Sandy Hook and says, if only every teacher had been armed, if only everyone had an AR-15, guess what happens? They sell more guns.
You don't think other organizations get money from companies?
How do you feel about the NRA? How do you feel about the NRA targeting politicians who support reasonable gun control?
It's never reasonable gun control, first of all. If they're targeting a politician, it's unreasonable gun control.
Removing any kind of assault weapon from civilian hands is not reasonable to you.
I don't want that, no.
Really?
No, I like the idea that I am able to have the same weapon that the police have.
But you don't, though, because they're allowed fully automatic machine guns.
Absolutely.
So why are they allowed those and you're not, and you don't care?
Again, there's a restriction on that.
But you're happy with that restriction?
No, I'm
You're just not happy with the other restriction?
I would like to have a fully automatic
You'd like a fully automatic machine gun?
Yes, I would.
And you'd be comfortable with everybody else in America having one too?
If they are trained and go through a background check, sure.
And mentally sane or criminal?
That's kind of hard to.
How are you going to know if they're not having background checks?
Right. Who is going to?
So how are you going to know without background checks?
Well, I like background checks. I said that.
You want universal background checks?
The NRA fought them, though. That bugs me. The NRA.
Yeah, I know. I don't agree with everything the NRA does. I'm not going to sit here and agree with everything.
Let's try and get to it. This is a good debate. Let's get to a point of consensus. You would agree with universal background checks?
Yeah, I always said background checks are fine. I like that.
What do you feel about the need to have magazines that have more than 10 bullets?
I like a 30-round mag.
Why?
Well, again, the police don't go out with 10-round mags.
Why would you need one?
You know what? For home protection, I like the idea.
You think 10 people are going to come?
You're not going to hit everybody with it, and it sounds ridiculous.
You go hunting with, say,
I'm not really a
100-bullet magazine?
I'm not a hunter.
But should hunters use 100-bullet magazines to shoot
if you're
deer?
going out hunting, it's a whole different thing than home protection.
That's not hunting, though, is it?
No, I'm not
Why
saying.
can't a simple handgun be used at home to protect a family? As I've always said in America, with the volume of guns you have here, I've never been against that.
It could be.
I'm known as this great gun grabber from Britain. I've always respected the rights of an American to have a simple handgun at home if they absolutely needed it. But here's the other thing. Wherever there are guns in homes in America, there is a higher rate of gun suicide.
Well, of course, because there's a gun in the home.
That's my point.
Yeah, well, I would say this, too. If you go out in the ocean, you have a much better chance of being bitten by a shark than if you're on land. It's one of those statements that, of course, if there's a gun in the house, there's going to be a better chance of somebody getting hurt with it accidentally or using it in a suicide. But many more crimes have been thwarted. That's rarely ever reported.
Do you believe that, given that there are more and more guns being sold in America, do you believe that within 10 years, if you have another 100 million firearms in circulation, the gun murder rate will be up or down?
I think that has to do with more to do with society than it does.
What do you feel?
Hardware.
What does your gut feeling tell you?
My gut feeling tells me, with all the pandering that goes on in this country, especially with the issues of gang violence, that if it keeps on track, the murder rate would go up. But it has nothing to do with the hardware. Has nothing to do with the tool being used. It has to do with a violent society. On
the same day as Sandy Hook in China, a lunatic went crazy with a knife in a school. He stabbed 20 children. You know the difference?
Yeah, like one kid died.
No, they all lived.
Oh, they all lived? Yeah, I knew it was a much lower than...
So when you say you can't blame the gun or the hardware, actually you can, because in China, those guns are banned.
You can't blame the gun for the lunacy that makes these people do these horrible acts.
Why wouldn't you, with every fibre... Are you a parent?
No.
Right. Any parents here? Okay. I've got 4 kids. Why wouldn't you? How many kids have you got?
2.
Right. Why wouldn't you want to try and make it as difficult as possible for the Adam Lanzes, the slightly crazy people who, by the way, have not had direct treatment for mental health issues, so haven't been flagged up on the system?
There were red flags on him.
There were red flags, but they weren't on paper. He hadn't been into a mental institution.
That same point, can I just jump in? That same point you're making, which is a valid point about why wouldn't you do this for your own children? The press should take that attitude when it comes to doing things that are encouraging future shooters, like covering it the way you guys do.
Yeah, but you're talking about chicken and the egg. You
No,
can blame
I'm not.
the press afterwards.
You can blame the violent video games afterwards. I'm not trying to. You guys are talking about guns. I'm only saying the press has been reprehensible, and as passionately as you discuss violent video games, you should be talking about the press and the way they have pushed this forward.
My kids play some of these games, Grand Theft Auto and whatever, right? I don't have an issue with violent video games if they are, as they are, hugely popular. Whatever. I have an issue where I see a pattern of these young. At the moment in America, you have a pattern of young white mass shooters in their early 20s, loners, misfits, who happen to be always playing a lot of violent video games.
A drop in the bucket compared to black gang members
I
in
agree,
their
but
cities.
they are completely different issues to tackle, and they should be tackled in different ways.
No, because they're not completely different issues with gun
take
grabbers.
Take Chicago.
They want to take lump them together as gun violence and take guns away from legal gun owners.
Here's what.
By the way, you have kids and stuff, and you like them protected. Do you have that armed security that goes around your neighborhood?
No.
What was that sign on your supposedly on your front lawn?
It was a link to the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Oh,
I presume you don't have a problem with the Beverly Hills people being armed?
No, being armed.
Nor do I.
That's fine.
Nor do I.
You've never been protected by an armed guard?
No.
Anywhere you've gone?
No.
Oh, good man.
The gun pro-rights people came to my house and they photographed that sign and they said I had private armed security. It was a link to the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Well, it was.
I presume nobody here would disagree with my right to be protected by the police.
That is your right.
Well, do you live in Beverly
or
Hills.
indeed the military. And when it comes to the military, my brother's a British Army colonel. My uncle was a British Army major. My grandfather was a commando. I'm not a pacifist. I understand the power of guns. I personally believe that military weapons belong in the hands of the military or the police.
Well, yeah, but that's what's happening here in this country. A semi-automatic weapon is not a military weapon. It's a gun.
But you want the right to have a machine gun.
An AR-15.
You want the right to a machine gun.
Sure,
which means if you have it, everybody else should have one too.
I would love to be able
or is
to
it just you that's going to have
jump through whatever hoops it would take legally to obtain it. And I know you can in some places, Vegas, for one, you could shoot.
Where do you think all the gangbangers get their guns in Chicago? Where there's actually reasonably tough gun control?
A lot of them are stolen, and a lot of them are
50% of all the guns that the police recovered in Chicago came from neighboring states.
Yeah, and the second you bring it over the state line, it's an illegal gun. It becomes an illegal gun. So we're supposed to take it away from the legal gun owners because criminals are taking them across the lines? Like
wait
prohibition.
A minute. Let me ask
like
you.
prohibition,
No, you're
Piers,
being so
it
facile.
wouldn't work. I am not. I'm saying that when they outlawed booze,
single
poured into the country.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Not a single person, me, President Obama, Michael Bloomberg, Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Naming all the good ones.
Not a single of the gun grabbers has ever actually asked for a single gun to be taken away.
Because they knew it wouldn't work. They've tried. They would love it.
Wait a minute.
They would love to.
My point is you can't keep saying they're gun grabbing. They're not taking anybody's gun, right?
I would love
we are
to
talking about the type of firearms
Let's
that should
go to
be
the gun store and
readily
buy an
available
AR-15
going
right
through.
now.
No,
You can't. They took them.
How many guns, if you took in every single one of President Obama's assault weapons ban proposals, how many types of firearm in America would still be legally available?
Probably quite a few.
How many?
I don't know.
You're an American. I'm British. Come on. How many in your country?
Why would I know
Why would you know more about gun rules in your country than me? I don't know.
That's not if you took all the assault weapons, it's a fucking math problem. I don't know the numbers.
Let me ask you to try and hazard a guess at how many different types of firearm would be legally available
50
in
billion
America.
gazillion, Piers.
Be serious.
I know the answer, but I'm not going to blow it.
Shut up.
Do you know? 1,400, I think it is.
Okay, so I'm going to guess.
I would say
2,200.
It's about that, yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, you're basically talking
Good
200 or
job.
300 types of gun.
Why
would be
can't I
removed
purchase a
from
semi-automatic
future
weapon?
Purchase, and these would be assault weapons.
Why can't I purchase a semi-automatic weapon
Because
with
you want a machine
10-round
gun,
magazine?
don't you? You've already said
Well,
that.
I want one. I can't have one. I
But
want
if
a
you
rocket
want one,
ship too. I can't have
because
one.
there are reasonable restrictions.
Yeah, and there are reasonable.
Have you fired an AR-15?
Sure.
Yeah.
I own 4 of them.
What is the difference?
You don't
really?
want to know how many guns he actually owns.
What
Piers.
is? I don't mind if you have guns.
He has a lot of guns.
He drinks heavily as well.
And he kicks kittens.
Yeah.
No, I love my kitten.
Bad person.
I love my
Can I
kitten.
ask Piers something?
Sure.
As quote an outsider, what do you think America's obsession is with guns?
I think it's very cultural. I mean, you look at someone like Canada, which has a very high volume of guns, but has nothing like your gun crime rate. There's something about the culture of gun violence in America.
But what is it?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's the cultural battles with my own homeland in the 18th century, where you had to fight off enemy territory with guns, and that was successfully achieved. I then think you had your own civil war, which obviously had a huge amount of gun violence, and I think as a result of that, guns became part of a family home in many cases, and people believe that their Second Amendment rights give them the right to continue to basically arm themselves to the teeth if they want to. Now, my argument is that at some point there's got to be a better application of reasonable restrictions. I repeat, I'm not going to take anybody's gun away. It's not about confiscation. Nor do I think when you have 300 million guns in circulation, you can't expect a family that wants a firearm, a handgun, to defend their family from having one. I respect that. That is what I think would be what the founding fathers intended when they wrote originally about this. But let's face facts. The Second Amendment's already an amendment, right? The original Constitution wasn't perfect. That's why there were so many amendments. To me, it is so vague, the wording of the Second Amendment, and can be so interpreted in different ways.
Only if you want to twist it around.
Either way. Either way. You can either believe, as I believe...
It was written simply, as I see it.
Then why was the interpretation... If it was so simple, why was the interpretation until the mid-'80s of this recent century... why for 170-odd years was it interpreted to mean an individual's right to bear arms as part of a well-regulated militia?
Because people
why is it now just an individual?
Because people weren't trying to take guns from people up until pretty recently.
What is a well-regulated militia, though? What is it?
A well-regulated militia is, here's what it is, and especially back when it was written. If you have your townspeople, people in your town, you want them to be armed so that if they have to rally up a militia to fight some type of...
Right, but they were a trained private local militia, right?
No, they were the townspeople.
Right,
they were the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
But they are trained to use the firearms. They work as a militia.
They work
a group.
as a militia.
Right.
But the militia,
they're not individuals.
The
right?
militia of that day was just the people in town and their weapons.
Who is regulating?
Being called together.
Now that it's become an individual militia of individuals living in their homes with individual firearms, who's regulating them?
It would be the militia itself.
Who? There is no militia regulating you, right?
No.
You've got nobody regulating your use of firearms.
No, because we haven't rallied a militia together yet.
Right.
There's no need for one yet.
So if you believe that the founding fathers intended you to have a gun as part of a well-regulated militia, I ask you again, where is that militia and where are they regulating you?
There isn't one now.
Right.
The amendment says that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed so that if we need to put together a militia, we already have the weaponry. That's how the amendment is interpreted.
But that's not how it was interpreted for 170 years.
It says a well-regulated militia.
The problem
being
with it
necessary
is,
a free state.
This is where you're wrong.
The right to bear arms shall not be infringed.
Right.
It means...
But there is a comma in the middle of a sentence, which means you can take it either way. And the Supreme Court in 2008 or 9 decided that it actually didn't mean what it had been interpreted to mean for 170 years. It actually meant an individual's right to bear arms, no longer as part of a well-regulated militia. But it's not whatever it is. It's a hugely important point. If you believe, as I do, that the NRA hijacked the meaning of the Second Amendment to sell guns, then you've got to debate whether the interpretation the Supreme Court affirmed in the late 2000s is correct.
Why would you think the Founding Fathers, knowing that there is an army, there's a standing U.S. Army, why would they say, well, you have to be in a militia in order to have weapons?
Because America, as you know, is a very big country.
Yeah.
So the idea of the standing army being able to get to some of the out places of America within weeks would have been unthinkable.
You don't think the Founding Fathers...
Now we can drop a bomb or a drone anywhere in America in a matter of minutes, right?
Yeah.
So the need to have a local militia to take on the British if we reinvade has gone. You also have, let me remind you, 5,000 nuclear warheads as a military firepower. America has half the world's military firepower at its disposal.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the British coming. You haven't got to worry about anybody coming. And you've got to worry even less about tyranny from your own government. Because let me explain to you, if they do come for you, your government, they've got 5,000 nukes. They're going to win. A few AR-15s is not going to succeed.
It's not
so
about
the tenets of the argument are ridiculous.
No, it's not. Because it's not about winning or losing. It's about a government having to kill its own people because they're armed with AR-15s instead of having nothing.
You're missing my point.
No, you're missing my point. No. Having no weaponry
and just doing it with a swipe of a pen. How are you going to defend yourselves against nukes?
You don't. If the United States has to start nuking its own people, I think